Enter live. I'm just gonna do a little intro.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Games We Don't Play podcast / Popcorn Podcast. It's a special. I'm doing an interview today. There's no Sean. There's no Chad. There's no Chalfie. It's just Dre. But today I have a pretty special guest. I'm doing an interview with Brett Zimmerman. You've probably seen Brett on a few movies, some TV shows, but he is the lead voice actor for the new Call of Duty that's coming out in November. How are you doing, Brett?
I'm doing well, Dre. Thanks for having me.
Okay, I want to dive right into you because I'm sure no one wants to hear me talk. They just want to hear you. So, you're from South Carolina?
Yes, originally Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Okay, so how did you get into acting?
It kind of came later in life. I always grew up enjoying films, and then when I was in college, I was kind of stumbling a bit, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and never really knew what I wanted to do growing up. And then I started, juggling jobs, paying the bills, trying to make my way through school, and started working with a local agency out of Charlotte, North Carolina, which is this north of my hometown, and also 2 hours from Clemson, South Carolina, where I went to school. So I started working with them. It was Evolution Talent Agency, and they worked as a developmental agency to kind of build talent up to larger markets. And my idea initially was to just kind of work with them and build some additional income. And as I said, pay my way through school, and then the more I started to connect with people on set and enjoyed the experience of being on sets, commercials and even print jobs, stuff like that, just seeing the production side of things, I really attained an interest in it. And the more I booked, the more times on set, the more interest, or the more my interest sparked. And so I talked to them about, wrapping up school and kind of building up that resume to step into a larger market. In 2010, I came out to LA. So the rest is kind of history. I mean, I've been out here, I hit the ground running. I jumped into classes, workshops, whatever I could to kind of educate myself and to play catch up. And so far, so good. It's acting's ups and downs, but it's been, a hell of a ride so far.
I can imagine it being up and down.
Yeah.
Like you said, acting is, it's not a constant thing. Definitely, you have to go out and do. You have to try out for it, so to speak. But I was wondering, what was your first role?
Oh, first role. Well, if we count back home in the Carolinas, I had a couple regional spots doing local commercial for Coca-Cola. I did Bloom Grocery Store, which is a regional store there. Out here, one of my first things, which is hilarious, Betty White actually hosted SNL in 2010. And the 2 weeks that ran, SNL ran a promo leading up to that, to her night of hosting. And I had auditioned, not knowing what it was for initially, but long and sweet of it, I ended up being Betty White's young hottie that she had in her house, which she jokes about marrying in the spot. So I moved out to LA at 24. I got married to Betty White, and we're still happy to this day.
Okay. I see that you did a Captain America spot.
I did.
With Stan Lee. So how was that? Because I've met Stan Lee. Stan Lee is awesome. How was that for you? I don't know if you're a comic book guy. I'm a comic book guy. So how was that for you as as an actor? And I don't know if you're into comic books the way that I am, or like everyone on the Popcorn Podcast and Games We Don't Play.
You and I and the rest of the group on the Popcorn Podcast could probably be close friends. Let's just say that. Yeah, I love comics, and certainly Stan Lee has been an icon, a legend to me. Growing up, I would draw comic characters with my dad, and as in terms of a bucket list for acting, that's certainly amongst the many roles of something I'd love to do is play or portray a comic character. So to that degree, portraying Captain America within a Dr. Pepper's spot was pretty awesome. I mean, and I didn't know at the time that Stan Lee himself was going to be in the spot with us. That was a kind of a bonus. So the day I got to set and saw that he was there with us, as always, he always makes a cameo in his in the Marvel universe. So that was
Yes,
cool to see him show up and shake hands with him.
that's awesome. Let me ask you a question. Are
Yeah.
you a Marvel or a DC guy?
Oh, that's a torn family right there for me.
Yes, it is.
There's so many characters I like from both. Yeah, I mean, with all the content out there right now, I watch everything that's releasing on both. I mean, I'm so excited for Thor Ragnarok that's releasing on
Yes,
the third
can't
Sunday
wait.
game. That's going to be a big day for us.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I love both. Justice League releases later in November as well, and I couldn't be more excited about that. I think they're really doing an amazing job with the characters. So yeah, I'm happy to see what they come up with.
Now, I noticed that you did some spots on Days of Our Lives.
Hmm.
How is that different from, say, a movie or a commercial or TV show?
Uh, it's very different. I gotta after working on a soap, I have to give soap actors so much credit just because the pacing is so much faster. People oftentimes judge soap actors and being on set with them, and I had lines myself, but nothing in terms of what the regulars on those shows have. And they really work so fast. I mean, one, two, maybe three takes, and it's on to the next scene. And sometimes, often, the leads on there are just spitting out monologues that are emotional, and you have to connect, and that's not easy to do within a take or two. When you really have to push your emotional range and connect with someone, there's a challenge in that. So I gained a lot of respect um, for the actors that work on soaps, just being on there within the 7 episodes I did on Days.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I could see that it was different. I was wondering, do you guys on soaps, do they shoot every day? Is it everyday shooting?
Much every day, yeah, and some days multiple episodes. There's a lot of interconnection within what they shoot, which episodes, which days. I would say it's much faster days again because of the pacing. I was there, roughly 5 to 6 hours a day versus being on a set where I'm there 8 to 15, just depending. I worked on Grey's Anatomy and I worked 2 days on there, and that show has so much longevity. And day two of being on there, they sat me down there like, so just buckle down, get comfortable. It's going to be a 15-hour day, and for me to see them as leads on a show that are getting that comfortable with each other and not stressing about, they're not complaining about the work that they are blessed with. They're like, yeah, sit down, long day. They embraced it.
And
That helped me to do so as well. I was like, all right, great. More time with them, more time for me. So, yeah, just, there's so much difference in the two. But I love both, It just
so, do you think?
challenges you in
I'm
different
sorry.
ways.
Go ahead.
I was
Okay.
just
Do
going
you
to
think that that working on a show like that did it improve you as an actor? That you learned something that you could take from it and go to other roles, considering how fast paced it is and how often you have to do it, and how long the days are.
yeah, I do. I mean, as an actor, I try to find all different ways to craft myself and to change. Uh, I guess to build myself in different ways, we'll say, and that certainly for me, I days where I have nothing going on, I might pick up a script and just try to memorize it, just for the sake of keeping my mind fresh, and learning how to pick up cues of how to memorize certain things or pacing on certain lines. So I do think that if I were to work on a soap consistently, that would help me in terms of memorization, pacing, just learning to work as fast as I could. Truly, I mean, you have
That's
a little more
great.
time in some shows, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I thought you. I mean, I used to watch Days of Our Lives as a child, and I'm not a lot of people know this. I wanted to be one of the actors on. I used to watch Days of Our Lives with my mother and General Hospital,
Oh, it's
and all my
amazing.
children.
Hmm.
Like as a child, I definitely wanted to be in and that. I didn't even really want to be an actor so much. I
Yeah,
just wanted to be on one of those shows.
great. I
So
think there's a spot for you as a cameo for sure. We need to get you on there. Could
I
be
am
amazing.
with that. I am definitely down for doing a cameo on any show. That would be
I'm gonna
awesome.
start campaigning for you. I'm just gonna be like Dre for days.
Dre from Games We Don't Play Popcorn Podcast wants to do a cameo.
Oh, that's it.
But so, how did you get the Call of Duty role? I
Oh
mean,
man.
we know you've done plenty of things, but how did this come to you? This
Yeah,
is a pretty big thing. Call of Duty is huge.
it is huge, 100%. And man, I knew how big it was going in. The initial process started roughly 2 years ago, and it was very under wraps. I didn't even know at the time when I was auditioning it was for Call of Duty. I knew it as a video game, and that was, the material. Again, you're asking the difference in soaps and network shows, and here again, the audition process was different. The material I received to audition with consisted of 2 scenes. One was a chunky monologue, which I was familiar with or used to doing, and then the second was roughly 6 pages of just a map layout, battle commands, battle chatter, stuff like that, where I'm literally leading a platoon through. Not sure how much I can say here, but we'll just say leading my squad through a combat zone, and eventually getting down to prone position, sniping it from a building. And so oftentimes I've been into auditions for TV or film, and you'll have this really physical scene that you're given, and they ask you to do none of it in the audition. They just want the dialogue or the words.
Dialogue.
So I wasn't sure what to expect. I went ahead and planned it as if I was going to have to do all the movements. And so I moved all the furniture in my living room, kind of set up as best as I could the map layout of what I was reading off of the page. And I've joked with my roommates because I've done some pretty quirky auditions in our living room, and found space to kind of rehearse. But this one in particular, I was literally diving down into prone position while my roommate's walking to make a bowl of cereal, and I'm sitting here yelling out the commands. It's just, it's comical what we do to really prep ourselves, but obviously it was worth it. I went into the audition and I was expected to carry a rifle or a prop rifle for the audition, and ran through the scene just as I had rehearsed, and it worked out. I had callbacks months later. It was probably, the first audition was close to January of 2016, and then about August or September of last year, we had callbacks and then producer sessions. And yeah, man, it was an extensive process, and filming itself has been close to a year, if not maybe over a year by now.
Wow.
Between the performance capture and VO sessions. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you said you're a comic book guy. Are you a gamer as well?
So I wasn't before. In college I played. I grew up with two brothers, Jason and Daniel, and we grew up, playing video games. Just, it's for fun, but never as a serious gamer. And we would play Mario Kart, GoldenEye,
GoldenEye, yes, GoldenEye.
Yeah, and in college I tried to keep up with some of my roommates on Halo, but this game in particular brought me back for sure. I found ways not to distract myself when I first moved out to LA, to kind of focus more on watching, less guilty pleasures of shows and putting down the controller and not, playing as much, and put more focus elsewhere. Was kind of mine. But when I booked this game, I picked up, I think it was Call of Duty 3, and tried to play, and man, I got some work to do. I might need some guidance there, Dre. Okay, you're gonna have to help me.
Okay, are you a PS4 player or Xbox One?
I've been PS. Yeah.
Okay. All you have to, I will send you my screen name.
Okay.
You can add me as a friend. Like I said, I'm not there are people who do this and they get paid to do it, and they're all into their KD. I'm not one of those guys, but I mean, I think over the last 3 or 4 Call of Duties, I got about a 3.0 KD, so I'm okay. I do my thing out there, and I could definitely show you around.
Yeah.
So you said Call of Duty 3, and then you played this one.
I believe it was Call of Duty 3, and as I said, I was last in 10 seconds here, 10 seconds. I was responding every 2 seconds, so I didn't play that much, but just to give myself a mindset for their games again, and just what maps were like, what the actions were like. For me as the first person player, You know, I wanted to give myself a better idea of what I was getting into.
Call of Duty is one of those games where if you don't play it a lot, you can kind of fall out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't played it I haven't played the last Call of Duty in a while because new games have come out. And if
Yeah.
I go back to it now, it'll take me some time to get into it and get used to the maps and get used to, it's Twitch. It's a Twitch first-person shooter, so it's all about response time. So it's
100%.
one of those things that you have to get used to. But I would love to play Call of Duty with you. And
Well, you know, I'm one of those that's like, you know, sometimes you want to watch your work and sometimes you don't. With this, I can't wait, not just to play. I mean, you know, the enjoyment of that, of playing, playing my own character, I think is pretty exciting. And the story they've created here is truly phenomenal. I mean, Sledgehammer Games did an amazing job with this. You know, we sat down day one and they expressed how important it was for me to really commit to this character of Daniels and to, you know, allow the players to have a window to kind of, you know, live through this story as Daniels. So I put a lot of love into him and bringing myself to the character, and I can't wait to see the story unfold. You know, we've shot months and months of performance capture and, as I said, VO, but to see it on, you know, unfold throughout, I think it will be pretty special.
so how much of the game have you seen so far? Or have you
Now,
seen any of it?
you know, I've seen the trailers that have released and maybe one or two other scenes that were rendered prior to release of those, just so they could, you know, kind of show us where they were at with the game. But yeah, I mean,
They're
I'm
keeping it under wraps for you too.
yeah,
You're the lead guy.
you know, discovery is exciting, and so for me, you know, to discover, as I said, the story and, you know, the different levels and see what the layouts are and just all of it, just to see the fulfillment of it come together, I think it'll be awesome. Not just for myself, but everyone involved.
Everyone. Yeah, you know what? Every year I say I'm not buying Call of Duty this year. Every year I say it.
Yeah.
I buy it every year. I already have it pre-ordered. I'm gonna play it like I play it 500 hours every Call of Duty. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself continuing on with the voice acting? Is that
I would
something you would like to do?
I will say the VO for this was the most extensive part for me, or exhausting part, I'll say. The audio team was phenomenal, and it just, you know, it's a war game, and so there's so much battle chatter, there's so much command. So when we would go into VO sessions, it was 4-hour sessions. We would do 200 plus lines, and it could be anything from frag out, doing it with no combat, medium combat, heavy combat, really being explosive within your voice and the delivery on some of the lines. So while it was exhausting, I mean, it certainly gave me a greater understanding of VO work. And yeah, I mean, whether it be performance capture or voice acting, it's definitely something I've always wanted to do. I love doing voices and characters, and yeah, the more I can kind of play around with who I am and the different, intricacies, I think it's always fun to play with,
Well, Brett, I do not want to hold you. I'm sure you're busy, but I want to say, man, I am so glad that you came on the show, that you spoke with me, and I cannot wait to play this game and see how the character comes together. Like, I think you're awesome. I'm not a fanboy, but I've watched you in different shows. I've watched you, Million Dollar Arm. Saw you in that.
Thank you.
So I've watched you, and I'm a fan of yours, and I can't wait to see what you've done with this character. Call of Duty is one of my premier, like many people, it's a premier series for me.
Yeah.
And every year it comes out, I'm always interested to see how the lead character is going to be played, who's playing it, and how they're doing it. And
Yeah.
When I found out that you were the person that got the role, I was, that much more interested in playing it and seeing how everything came together. So I appreciate your time, man. I think you're awesome.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of heart in Daniels and a lot of heart in this game. I hope you, obviously have some excitement for it, and maybe we'll chat again after you play. So
I'm with that. We could chat after the game comes out, and I'm gonna hold you to getting on Call of Duty with me and playing a couple matches with me,
Okay,
man.
I'll have
You
to do
know, I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Go easy on
So
me, okay?
okay,
Dave's a nice kid, he's a nice farm boy from Texas. Just go easy on him, okay?
you're gonna be rolling with me. Believe
All right, I like
you'll
that.
you'll be okay. You're gonna be rolling with me. You'll be okay. So guys, this was Brett Zimmerman, awesome actor. I can't wait to see him in Call of Duty. You guys have seen him in plenty of TV shows. How to Get Away with Murder. You can go back and look at the Days of Our Lives. I think he did NCIS. What was it, New Orleans?
Yeah.
Okay, New Orleans. So go and check out his body of work. He's been, like I said, he's been in Million Dollar Arm. Go check that out. And then definitely go out and get Sledgehammer's new Call of Duty World War II. It's coming out in November. I don't remember the date that it's coming out.
November 3rd, man.
November 3rd.
I got you.
November. See, look, he's already ready. All of that training that he did for the game, he had.
That's right.
November 3rd. He's going to be there. I'm going to be there playing it day one, and I hope to see you guys out there. This has been Dre for the Popcorn Podcast for Games We Don't Play, ETMF Podcast. We're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening.